you're done with yo-yo diets, miracle pills, calorie counters and weight loss hacks, then you might be in the right place. My goal is to give away 100,000 copies of my book and help as many people as possible quit diets forever. You can get your free and completely unedited copy of Quit Your Diet from my website. There's nothing taken away. It's exactly the same as the one you can buy on Amazon for $19.99. Welcome to the Quit Your Diet podcast. I'm Michael Dawson, author of Quit Your Diet, Think to Shrink. The name of the book says it all. My book and podcast not only provides a very strong argument for quitting that diet treadmill, but it offers a real plan, real tools to help you be ready to quit forever in just 14 days. Those tools are what I've used in my work for decades, and they've helped millions of people overcome seemingly insurmountable problems, and they can help you too. All the free resources are available at actionfactorypublishing.com, and it's worth noting that site members who are signed up before I publish my Quit Your Diet course will get automatic free lifetime access to that course. Okay, on with the show. You can listen to the other episodes by going back, but today we're on chapter 3 of my book, Quit Your Diet, and I'll be reading those early chapters verbatim and then taking some questions and help to probably give you an idea of where the book's going and the quids mindset, as we call it, the Quit Your Diet mindset. So here we go, it's chapter 3 verbatim, and then we'll take some questions. Quit Your Diet, Think to Shrink isn't about the Morbidity Project or what happened in that tennis club. But without that experience, I might never have understood why the world treats weight loss so differently from every other challenge we face. For decades, I've worked with people navigating some of life's most challenging problems: addiction, trauma, family breakdown, and high-pressure business environments. In those areas, I help people break free from limiting beliefs, shift their mindset, and create meaningful change. And yet, when it came to weight loss, society insisted on treating it as something unique, something that required endless rules, suffering, and punishment. And that never sat right with me. I was curious. I wanted to know why weight loss was treated as an outlier, why people were told their success depended on willpower alone, and why, despite the billions poured into diets, fitness programs, and medical interventions, so many people were still struggling. No one asked what thinner people do and what we could do to shift our personal mindset to mirror those without weight problems. No intervention reflected what we do with alcoholics or drug users and much more to set them free. I already knew that my approach, combining solution-focused brief therapy, NLP and clinical hypnosis, had transformed lives in some of the most complex situations imaginable. These weren't just theories, but strategies that help millions create lasting change. If they worked for addiction, crisis intervention, high-stakes negotiations, and business leadership, why wouldn't they work for weight loss? The only way to find out was to immerse myself in the problem. That's how I found myself in the middle of the Morbidity Project. And by the time it was over, I'd gathered the insights I needed to build a program that finally made sense. When I was first invited to participate in the Morbidity Project, I had no idea what I was walking into. Even the name sounded ominous. It conjured images of extreme reality TV shows, public weigh-ins, contestants sobbing in front of the camera, grueling workouts designed more for spectacle than actual change. But this wasn't a show. This was real life. The goal was straightforward, at least on paper. Take 12 individuals struggling with severe, life-threatening obesity and throw every possible professional resource at them for 12 weeks. Medical support, dietary guidance, psychological tools, fitness coaching, and behavioral therapy. In theory, it sounded like a dream scenario. If we provided people with everything they needed, change would be inevitable. But I knew better than to believe in theory alone. The structure and the real problem. We met once a week at a local tennis club, our unlikely headquarters for this program, and the structure was simple, almost clinical. Health check-ins, a nurse monitored weight, blood pressure and other indicators. Dietary reviews, a dietitian analysed food diaries, tracked intake and provided nutritional advice. Fitness sessions, group exercise programs helped participants move more and build confidence. Mindset and behaviour work. This was my domain, where I helped people change their thoughts about themselves and their challenges. On the surface, the project had all the ingredients for success. Every participant had access to expertise, guidance and support. There were no gimmicks, no miracle cures, just a structured plan to build on logic. And yet, before the first session, I sensed the real issue wasn't what people knew, it was what they believed. Over the years, I've worked with people who have overcome addiction, rebuilt broken lives, and transformed the way they operate under pressure. The most important lesson I've learned is this: lasting change doesn't come from information alone. It comes from the transformation in thinking. People don't struggle with weight loss because they lack knowledge. They struggle because they're trapped in a mindset that makes success feel impossible. And that's precisely what I saw in the Morbidity Project. Some participants had spent years believing they were destined to be overweight. Others had internalized failure after years of dieting and rebounding. Many saw diets as an emotional anchor they couldn't imagine living without. It wasn't about calories, carbs, or cardio. It was about identity, habit, and self-perception. That's when I knew the real battle wasn't with food or fitness. It was the way people saw themselves. Despite the challenges, the group committed. Week after week, they showed up, ready to do the work. Attendance remained nearly perfect, something I'd never seen in programs like this before. And the changes started to appear, not just in numbers, but in life. One man walked into a session grinning, having gone for a walk for the first time in years. Another quietly admitted he'd stopped buying his daily Mars bar, a habit he'd carried as long as he could remember. A woman arrived at our final meeting wearing jeans she'd sworn she would fit into by the end of the program. These weren't dramatic, headline-worthy transformations. They weren't before and after pictures splashed across social media, but they were real, and they proved something I'd long suspected. Success isn't about willpower or suffering, it's about reclaiming control. I often joke that I didn't belong in that room. I wasn't a dietitian, a fitness coach, or a medical professional. My background wasn't in weight loss at all. But I did have 4 decades of experience helping people change across therapy, business, addiction, and high-pressure decision-making. I'd spent my career proving that real change doesn't come from force, but from understanding, strategy, and mindset shifts. And while the doctors and dietitians focused on food and movement, I focused on people's thoughts. I helped them challenge their assumptions, break their mental patterns, and reframe their struggles. And the most important lesson I brought to the project was this: change isn't about forcing yourself to follow a rigid plan. It's about aligning your mindset with your goals. After that, everything falls into place. Building the Quit Your Diet program. By the end of the Morbidity Project, I had my answer. Weight loss didn't fail because people lacked knowledge. It failed because we were asked to fight against their psychology, following rigid, unsustainable rules rather than working with their minds. And that's why I built Quit Your Diet, Think to Shrink. I turned to my most trusted, battle-tested strategies, the same ones that had helped millions break addiction, navigate crisis, and rebuild their lives. Solution-focused brief therapy, because change happens when you focus on solutions, not problems. Neuro-linguistic programming, because how we speak to ourselves shapes our reality. Clinical hypnosis, because the subconscious mind holds the key to behavioral change. I pulled lessons from the greatest minds in transformation. Here's a quote from Virginia Satir: "If what you're doing isn't working, try anything else." And Richard Bandler, the inventor of NLP, once said, "Almost all problems were once a solution to another problem." And I built a system designed to do what no diet had ever done: work with your mind instead of against it. This book isn't about the Morbidity Project. It's about what I learned. The following chapters will introduce the tools, strategies, and mindset shifts to help you break free from the diet cycle for good. Give yourself 14 days to prepare, and you can be free of the diet mindset forever. Because weight loss isn't about suffering, it's about thinking differently. And once you do that, everything changes. There you go. That's chapter 3 from my book, Quit Your Diet, Think to Shrink, read verbatim. And I'm going to look at some chapters. I'm going to look at some questions now and see if we can make a little bit more sense of where we are so far after the 3 chapters. Bear in mind, you can go back if you want to and listen to the last couple of episodes. What does the chapter reveal about the gap between theoretical solutions and the actual beliefs or mindset of individuals struggling with weight loss? Okay, the theoretical solutions, as you call them, they make absolute perfect sense. Okay, it's clear that if you put less calories in, move more, and then, of course, you will lose weight. That's fairly obvious, and it makes perfect sense. However, my argument is that human beings don't make sense. If they did, the answer to all of our problems would be that simple. We have to be at a higher level. Okay, think of alcoholics and people who are depressed. If you're alcoholic, the answer's just as obvious, isn't it? Just stop drinking. If you are depressed, then cheer up, basically. So humans don't make perfect sense. And this kind of resulted in a diet dogma because it seems clear and obvious to all of us. But what works doesn't always make sense. Remember, I'm talking about a weight problem, not someone who's overweight. These are completely interchangeable. You know, you can have a weight problem in either instance. You know, we do say in NLP, something like today's problem is yesterday's solution. And you think about that, that's absolutely true. So I hope that answers your question. I think it does. You can see that there is a huge gap. The theory, I wouldn't have a go at the diet dogma and the diet theory because it makes perfect sense. However, there's a reason that we deep down resist, and that's because we've not dealt with those higher levels. And that's something I'm going to go into, not just about that in the book, but I'm also going to show you strategies and ways that you can deal with those higher levels. What would you say to someone who needs the diet because they need the structure and support of a group? I might miss the support. Firstly, if you need a diet for its practical systemization, then that's great. You know, if you need a diet and you think it works for you, that's great. I wouldn't have a go at you for that. And will this book work for you? Will this book help you, or should you throw it in the bin? No, I don't think so. I think even if you follow a diet, I'm talking about really restrictive diets here. But yeah, there's no real true reason why you should not work to some form of diet plan. However, if you're on a diet that's restrictive, this book will still help you. But you said something about group support and social support. If you've just admitted that it doesn't serve you in weight loss, but you like the social environment, as far as weight loss goes, I don't think it helps. But that's your choice. You know, if you read the earlier chapters, you'll see that being in a group, it should be doing what you're there for, in my opinion. If you want to go and hang out with people who are trying to lose weight, but not succeeding, that's possible. Because you all love the social bonding, have fun. That's good. It will not help you necessarily lose weight. It might, but it might not. Okay, what insights from your work with addiction, trauma, and business leadership do you apply to the weight loss scenario in the Morbidity Project? It was interesting that I was taken in there as the Mr. Motivator. There's a little joke within the book, and it's absolutely true. She thought I was some kind of Mr. Motivator. Let me tell you a story. It's in the book. It's about dogs. Now, as a cyclist, I've had many run-ins with dogs. They don't like cyclists. But the guy I was working with on this particular job, he was a qualified dog trainer. And he said to me, when a dog looks aggressive towards you, you make yourself big and you walk towards the dog. It will back off. He says, because the reason a dog will back off is because he doesn't want to get in a fight. It's instinctive. He could get injured and so on and so on. And that could be infection. He could die. So he doesn't want to fight you. He wants to intimidate you. And if you can intimidate him back, you win. What was interesting was the reason for that. And what he said to me was, it doesn't matter what the dog is. All dogs are dogs. And I use this story to apply all humans are humans. You know, what works for most of us will work for the others. And these tools and things that I talk about in my book, they've worked for lots and lots of other humans, and you're just human. So you don't need me to say, come on, you can do it. I almost know you can because you're human. As simple as that. I'm using methods in this book that have brought us embarrassingly good recorded successes of 85, 90% in our family therapy services. We do that by focusing on solutions instead of problems, by realizing that today's problem was a solution to another problem yesterday. Also, people have an incredible capacity for change. I always work with people by keeping my hands off the steering wheel, let them drive the bus, and I would sit there and make kind of suggestions. So there's so many lessons, but almost the entire book and course is written around the lessons I learned working with this heavy levels of trauma. Okay, why do you believe that simply providing professional resources, medical, diet, fitness, isn't enough for lasting change in severe obesity? Already answered that one, I think, in the last one. It's more about identity and that kind of thing. So there you go. I think that's it for this week. Thank you for being there. This has been the Quit Your Diet podcast, and it can be found at actionfactorypublishing.com, along with all the tools you need for free. The entire unedited book for free, the same as the one you'll find on Amazon at $19.99. And if you register as a website member before I publish my upcoming course, which will walk you through these tools, then that will also always be free to you. And that's not just like a basic level, that's the entire course. So you must be a member on the day I publish the course, which is soon. And it's going to be a couple of £100. And after that, it's going to be chargeable. So please don't miss out. Go to the website now and click and join as a member. Thank you for being there. I've been Michael Dawson, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.